Hello and welcome back to my series in Factorio in which I'm attempting to build my very first mega factory. My name is Azrael. Come along with me as we continue our adventure. Alright, it is about time that we do something about this oil shortage that we're experiencing. This isn't the 70s. Alright, I'm going to make some preparations over here. First of all, I'm going to reestablish that roboport so that they can continue to provide me with all the stuff I'm going to need. I don't have to go digging through the chests on my own. You know, what's the point of having robotic slaves if they don't do anything for you? Bunch of freeloaders. Anyway, just getting up some supplies. Now, I have my sights set on a couple of different oil patches out in the wilderness. But being that they are out in the wilderness, that means that they are surrounded by some pretty nasty biter nests. So I need to make some preparations for heading out there. It is dangerous to go alone. So I'm also going to need some walls when I finally get there to set everything up. Alright, I realize I forget a few things. I need to run back over here. Oh, thank you, robot slaves. Alright, some flamethrower ammo, some the remaining shotgun shells, and well, since this is going to be an oil field, I might as well make sure that I have enough pipes and stuff like that. Alright. And while I'm heading out there, I'm going to be expanding the rail network because it's going to have to happen eventually. I might as well do it along the way. Ooh, hey, here's some stone. And some more stone. Alright. Eventually I'm going to get a nice little setup here to pick up all this stone that I've randomly left around the place and deliver it somewhere where I can actually use it. Alright, and the biters finish off some of the turrets that I just put down because I didn't get ammunition in them fast enough, and then of course I used my shotgun to destroy them. And yeah, I was a little rusty there, but we're back, and I know what I'm doing now. Alright, I've got a couple of these bases I need to clear out, so we're just going to take them one at a time. Or in this case, maybe like two at a time, because they're like right next to each other. I don't know how much space between two bases constitutes them being two separate things, but it's not really important. Alright. I've got one half of the base cleared. And just trying to clear out some of these worms, and you know, full shields are for wimps apparently, so I'm going in there with half shields and almost dying a couple of times. Pick up my ammunition turrets there. I realize in hindsight that I actually left two of those behind, but don't worry, we'll take care of that in the future. It's close enough to the railroad line, I'm sure I'll notice eventually. Alright. There's a couple more bases over here just on the east side of this little foresty area. I'm going to get another line going back the other way there just for a little bit. And they're coming through the trees, so that's slowing them down. I'll have enough time to put down some turrets, take care of that. Alright, I'm going to take care of this base over here first, just so that I don't retreat back behind my gun line and then just get attacked on the other side. And besides, it's small, it should be easy. There we go. Okay, now we're going to move south and take care of these fighters down here. Let them all come into the turrets. Now, before I left, I probably should have picked up some more ammunition for these, but it's so far away now, I don't think I'm going to bother getting that until I really need them. Ooh, alright. Yeah, it's since those worms are kind of buried inside the forest, I really don't have the ability to use the flamethrower. I don't want to set the entire forest on fire, because I would have no way of putting it out. Well, I suppose I could use my construction bots to clear out something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That would result in a lot more destruction than I need. Okay, it looks like everything's been taken care of. Actually, there's still a few more down here, just a bunch of worms. And again, they're surrounded by forest, so I don't really want to use the flamethrower for that. Alright, now there's this little grove of oil deposits down here, and it's completely buried under all of this forest. We're going to have to clear that out a little bit and make some room in my inventory for it. And there's a dropped box. That wood will actually come in handy a little bit later. Alright. That should be a total of, I believe, 10. That's 9. Where's the... oh, there it is. Alright. Yeah, 10 pump jacks. That ought to help with our oil problems. Now, it's just a matter of getting them all hooked up to pipes in such a way that I could later come along with some beacons and plop them down in a nice, simplified fashion. But I'm not really thinking about that right now. I just want to make sure that I can use an economy of pipes to get everything hooked up. So it's just, yeah, there we go. And get a little backbone for these. And then a little backbone over here. And it's just a matter of connecting those backbones. Whatever. I don't know. Whatever you want to call them. Alright, gonna move things around here just a little bit. Alright, got all that stuff hooked up. Now it's time to create a station. I'm not going to create a massive pipeline to bring this back into the factory because it's just so far away. I don't think it would be very practical. So I'm actually instead going to set up a barreling facility up here and then load all of those barrels onto a train and then take them back to the factory that way. It seems to make some sense. Alright, I'm just going to set up a quick system here with all the empty barrels. Yeah, the unfortunate thing is that it will take a lot of barrels because I don't want to, oh man, I made that one tile off. Alright, move everything down by 1. There's that recurring theme. And now all the barrels are just spilling out of my inventory. There we go. Alright, and now the track will line up where I need it to be. Alright, that signal is going to be right where the train station is. Now it's just a matter of getting that line hooked back up to the rail network. Alright, that shouldn't be too difficult. I just got to put it along there. Whoop. There we go. Had a few too many along there. Alright, now I just got to loop it around on the other side. Now since I'm pretty much planning on only having this train be one cargo wagon, because it just seems like 2 would be excessive. Each cargo wagon can hold, it has 40 inventory slots, and barrels stack up to 10. So that would be 400 barrels total in each cargo wagon. That should be more than plenty. And since this is not the only oil field that I have my eyes set on, it really shouldn't be all that necessary to pull any more than that. It shouldn't be, but we'll see as time goes along. Alright, I'm just getting some signals put out there. I realize I do have a bunch of stuff in my inventory. In hindsight, I had enough to actually craft a rail station where I didn't have to use a rail signal as a placeholder. But oh well, things that you see in hindsight are 20/20. Alright, clear out a bunch more space, and it's time to put up a wall. Preferably a wall that's actually connected with itself. Alright. And eventually, in the future, I'm actually going to build the defensive perimeter around a much larger space that these individually walled outposts shouldn't be necessary. But in the meantime, there's a wall around the entire place. And now I've just got to put some turrets in place. And this is where my low amount of ammunition really uh, creates a problem, because I don't have enough ammunition to put in all of these turrets. But these are going to be where I'd like to have them all, so I might as well just set them all out. Alright, yeah, see, I only have like 2.5 stacks there, plus the stack that's in my weapon at the moment. Yeah, I'd like to not have to use that. So I realize as I'm getting around here, I can't put my usual stack of 25 in each of these, so I'm trying to get that lower, closer to like 10 or 12, because that's just how it divides when you split the stack with the, I believe that's the right mouse button. I don't know, I never think about what buttons I'm actually pressing when I'm doing it. It's just, muscle memory at the time. So cognitively thinking about it later on, it kind of escapes my mind. I figure these two turrets up here are the ones that need the ammunition the least. So they're the ones that are kept without ammunition in them. There's a little stone deposit right up there to the north. I'll probably set up a station up there to gather that stone. And like I said, eventually there will be a spot in my factory that collects all that stone and does various useful things with it, such as maybe creating more rail segments, some concrete, hopefully, walls, and whatever else needs it, just stone bricks in general, because I really don't have that many of them. But in the meantime, I've gotten by pretty well without them, so it's not a big priority. I'm just going to collect a bunch of stuff, craft up some more rail segments in my inventory, and oh, before I forget, I should run up here to my ammo factory and pick up some more of that. A lot more of that, because you can never have too much ammunition. Well, I suppose you could, because you need inventory space for other things as well. But you know what I mean. Alright, while I'm here, I'm going to craft up a few more poison capsules, because those will come in handy if we run into any more biter bases that are buried in the forest and I can't use the flamethrower on them. So that'll come in just as handy. And it will also clear out a bit of the forest at the same time. Alright, rearranging some of the lights over there so that they're a little more efficiently placed. Alright. Now it's time to actually set up the destination for the oil train. And this is as good a spot as any. It's right next to my oil processing area. Of course, there are a lot of underground pipes in the area, so I do have to be a little careful that I'm not getting in the way. Now, I'm not actually going to keep that as a roundabout, but that was just put in place so that I could visualize where everything needs to go. All right, you need to move this oil pipeline around a little bit so that it's not in my way, and try to get it as much out of the way as possible. All right. So that's going to be that. Now I just need to hook it up to the rail network down there. Now this junction is a little bit too close to the existing junction, just a little bit to the right. But considering that there's not going to be a whole lot of trains traveling up to this little north branch, I don't think it'll cause too much of an issue. Alright, so I'm just going to create that T-junction there. I realized I had connected that up to the wrong line. I keep forgetting that it drive on the left, drive on the left. The American in me just keeps complaining about that. It's like, no, you drive on the right side of the road. Yeah, the reason I do that is because with all other things being equal, the placement of the signals themselves is a little bit more efficient, because you can put them on the inside rather than on the outside, so it actually takes up a little bit less room that way, and wastes just a little bit less as well. So it's something that that the American in me keeps fighting whenever I put down more rail segments. Now, the idea here is that I'm going to have like a little bit of a stacker so that in case I have multiple trains coming in and waiting to drop off at the station, there's a space for them to go. Just setting up all the signals to accommodate this. The chain signals going into the intersection and regular signals coming out. That just seems to be the default mantra for most Factorio builders, and it's worked for me so far. So I'm going to just go ahead and continue that. But then I realized I don't need two branches for the drop-off station, and there's honestly plenty of room around this little branch for trains to wait, so I don't think I need the stacker. Since each oil train is probably just going to be a locomotive and a cargo wagon, a 1-1 as they call it, it really means that there's not a lot of room that it needs to take up while it's waiting. And with the way you place the rail signals, I could actually probably fit about 6 waiting trains just in this little loop alone before it backs up out onto the main rail line there. So right now I only have this one oil train going. So if in the future that becomes a problem, I will deal with it then. But for the meantime, I don't really see it as being much of an issue. All right, I'm just creating the unbarreling station. So with like I said, the creative use of the rail signals along here, that should give me, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 waiting trains. So yeah, that's in addition to the one that's actually unloading at the moment. So we should be okay with the number of trains that we can put on that spur. Alright, I was using the train to lay out some power network and then bring it down into the station. I'm going to go ahead and officially set up the station. I'm going to call it Oil Field 01 because it's not going to be the only one, of course. There's another one that's farther to the east that has another 9 oil deposits in it, so I'll probably end up setting that up in the future just to make sure that my oil availability is nice and high. Because even right now in the base, if we can get it functioning the way it is ideally set up at the moment, we're still not producing a whole lot of green and red and blue circuits. I should have just said all circuits there. Anyway, yeah, so it's still not producing a whole lot. In order to produce enough to make it qualify as a mega factory, as is the eventual goal here, I'm going to need to increase my oil production by a significant amount. All right, I'm going to make that train black like oil. It just looks so cool that way. And whoop, okay. The first station on its schedule was the drop-off, so it's going to go drop off absolutely nothing and then come back here in a moment. In the meantime, I'm going to move all this wood over and use it as train fuel until it runs out, and then I'll probably set up a solid fuel refueling station somewhere back in the main factory. And then I realized I had forgotten to set filters on those inserters. They were actually not filter capable, they were just stack inserters. So it was unloading the barrels into the train and then immediately pulling them back out into the unloading box. So I forgot. I have to use what are they called? Stack filter inserters or filter stack inserts. However that goes, I don't know. All right, and since the train kind of took off with all of my empty barrels, there it is. It's doing the same thing back up there. So it's unloading the barrels and loading empty barrels and then immediately unloading them again. There it goes back the other way. But I don't need to access the actual train at the moment. And there it goes again. But instead, I need to actually fix the drop-off system over here with those stack filter inserters. Yeah, okay, that is what they're called. All right, just and then getting all of the barrels back where they're supposed to be. All right, here it comes and loads up on those barrels and takes off again. Uh, Even though I crafted up 100 empty barrels, I have it set to take off from each station as soon as it has more than 50. That way, they're back here at the loading station. It still has barrels available to be filling with oil while it's dropping off the ones that are full. All right, and as you can see, the refineries are actually working at the moment. Plastic production is somewhat recovering to the point where we're actually creating enough advanced circuits. Well, not nearly enough, but a lot more than we started with in this episode. So we are improving just a little bit at least. All right, now just waiting for that train to come back. All right, here it comes. Just so I can see the whole plan in action. There it goes. And dropping off. All right. And there it goes again. It should eventually balance out. I'm going to go here and check out my oil. I actually had the idea to set up some indicator lights. I've done this in one of my previous factories, but this time I actually have the ability to use colored lights as well. So I'm going to create a neat little pattern over here, and I'm gonna configure this in such a way that it will show me at a moment's glance just approximately what kind of oil levels we're talking about. And I'm not entirely sure if having the color on the red circuit along with the information is the right way to do this. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the colors on a green circuit and the actual information from the oil on the red circuit. So we'll see if we can get this working. It's going to read the amount of oil in that tank, and then each individual lamp will light up when it reaches a certain level. Alright, just fiddling with some of the numbers there. And alright, so each one is going to be 500 more than the previous one. Alright, and alright, that's getting close to that 500 threshold, and there it goes, it switched up. But I wanted to keep the previous light on there so that it's like an indicator itself. Alright, that works. That is all the time we're going to have for today's episode. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Azrael. Never stop building.